Have you ever finished a seafood feast with an unusual dessert called Prego, but it's not really sweet? That's exactly what happened to us in Lisbon. I'd been waiting years for this moment. Finally, our trip became real, and I knew the very first meal had to be at Cervejaria Ramiro. And let me tell you, it was no mistake. It turned out to be one of the most memorable meals of my life. Now, Ramiro isn't just any restaurant. It's famous. People travel across the world to eat here. I had seen Anthony Bourdain sit at these tables. Other food shows had featured it too, and the second I walked in, got it. The place was alive, crowded, noisy, full of energy, and the smell of garlic and seafood hit you right away. We barely sat down before the bread landed on the table. Not boring bread. No, this was warm, soft inside, crusty outside bread, soaking in garlic and olive oil. I could have made a meal out of that alone actually, but this was just the beginning. First up, Gambas al ajillo, or garlic prawns, sizzling hot. The smell of garlic filled the air and the prawns were juicy and tender. The real move? Dipping that garlic bread into the sizzling oil. Oh man. But the real adventure was this. The star of the show, the edible crab. But the best part wasn't just the meat. You save that for later. It was the tomalley inside the shell. Tomalley is basically the crab's innards. Rich, creamy, packed with flavor. It looks almost like a spread, and sometimes I scoop it out and eat it directly. It's that good. And here at Ramiro, they serve it pulled inside the shell, ready for you to spoon out onto bread. The rest of the crab was just as perfect. Sweet, tender, perfectly cooked. Every bite reminded us why Ramiro is so legendary. It wasn't just a meal, it was a celebration of the sea. Wait for this another adventure. Then came out the dish I had been waiting for. It's called freshest, or Goose barnacles. Honestly, this was a big deal for me. I had read about them, seen them on food shows, but never thought I'd actually get the chance to taste them myself. When the plate arrived, I just stared for a second. They looked so unusual, almost like little dragon claws, with a rough shell at one end and a soft tube-like body. I thought, wow, this is it. This is one of those food moments you never forget. I took my first bite, and right then, I knew why people risked their lives to harvest these. The taste was pure ocean. Salty, briny, but clean and fresh. It wasn't fishy. It was like breathing in sea air and tasting it at the same time. I paused for a second and just smiled. I had never eaten anything like this before. And I thought that was the end, but then came the surprise twist. When I asked for the dessert menu, the waiter just grinned at me. He shook his head and said, "Oh, we have the best dessert. I'll bring it." A few minutes later, he put down not a cake, not a tart, but a sandwich. A thick steak sandwich called a Prego. He smiled and said, "This is your dessert. Enjoy." I laughed, but the moment I took a bite, I understood. The steak was tender, juicy, cooked with garlic. Every bite was simple but perfect. Honestly, it was the best steak sandwich I've ever had. Dessert had never tasted so good. And that's how our first meal in Lisbon ended. Not with sweets, but with steak. From garlic prawns to goose barnacles, from rich crab tomalley to that surprise Prego. Cervejaria Ramiro gave me one of the best meals of my life. We sat back for a moment, full but happy, thinking about what had just happened. This wasn't just dinner, it was a food memory carved deep into me. I had tried something brand new and bold with the goose barnacles. I had savored crab in its richest, most natural form. And I had laughed when dessert came as a steak sandwich, only to realize it was the perfect ending. Ramiro showed us why food can be more than just eating. It can be an adventure, a story you carry with you forever. Each dish told us something about Lisbon, about the sea, about the way locals love their traditions. If every trip has one moment you never forget, for me in Lisbon, this was it.